So NBA free agency has been exciting so far. We've got Paul George going to the 76ers, Chris Paul is going to start feeding Wemby, and the Lakers drafted a rookie LeBron James to replace LeBron James. Personally, the most interesting deal so far, in my opinion, is Klay Thompson going to the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, it's gonna be weird, and really sad to see Klay in a jersey other than a Warriors uniform. Just take a second and think about all he accomplished in Golden State. 4 championship rings, he built a reputation as Game 6 Klay, he set the NBA record with 3-pointers made in a single game with a total of 14, he set the NBA record for most points scored in a single quarter when he dropped 37, he scored 60 points in just 3 quarters, he was a part of the record-breaking 73-19, and he was the other half of the famous Splash Brothers. I remember for so long, one of the main talking points surrounding the Warriors on a year-to-year basis is their dynasty days actually over? They had a bit of a re-emergence and won the championship in 2022, which a lot of people didn't expect. But again, that conversation persisted. Is their dynasty actually done? And now we can finally say beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is officially over. Even for Warriors fans, it seems like it just hasn't really settled on how this era is officially done. A lot of that is probably because of how things became so sour. There was just drama in the organization, teammates were punching each other, Klay was not looking like himself, and Klay was closing out a season with a historically bad 0-10 performance. But that also leads us to my next point about Klay heading to Dallas. Because of all the bitterness regarding how their situation ended in Golden State, I kind of feel like it's making people slaves of the moment and just lose track of Klay's remaining value. To a certain extent, he's still Klay Thompson. Yes, I know. He's not the defensive player that he once was. He hasn't been the same since he's had all of those surgeries. He's 34 years old, he was mopey and in his head most of last season, and he finished the year disappearing and shooting 0 of 10 in a must-win game. I get all of that. But it's not like Klay still doesn't have some value to help the Mavericks tremendously. Outside of his 0 of 10 finale, Klay was starting to find his game as the season progressed. In his first 20 games of the year, he averaged only 15 points on under 40% shooting and roughly 35% from 3-point range. Now compare that to the final 20 games leading up to the play-in, and you see a massive improvement, as he averaged 20 points on 46% shooting and 41% from 3-point range, which is still considered very elite. Even if he just shows up periodically and is that same guy occasionally to help Luka and Kyrie, that's going to be huge for them. There were extensive periods of time where Luka and Kyrie looked like the only Mavericks who showed up, especially in the NBA Finals. They're used to having supporting teammates occasionally disappearing and them having to carry more of the offense all by themselves. From this aspect, I don't think Klay will have as much pressure on him in this situation in Dallas, which also might be a freeing aspect for him mentally. A change in atmosphere, a change in coaching, and a change in peers, all of this stuff can be great for a guy who was clearly in his head last season. Also consider the fact that he's being asked to be a third option in Dallas, compared to Golden State where he was asked to be a second. When you're showing up and you're expected to produce night in and night out, there's a big difference between trying to be Scottie Pippen and trying to be Horace Grant. Assuming health, Klay can be spotty for this dynamic superstar tandem, and it won't be as devastating to their chances of success. Now, of course, I could be looking too much at the silver lining, and Klay could just end up shooting 0 of 10 in another must-win game, therefore crippling Dallas's chances. But as bad as that was, nights like that are rare, even for post-surgery Klay. Again, I just think people are being slaves of the moment a bit too much, comparing the addition of Klay Thompson to Shaquille O'Neal in Boston, or acting like they're just getting some washed shell of himself that's only going to average 6 points. This Klay Thompson can still be one of the best floor spacers and one of the best 3-point shooters in the entire league. And that alone is a huge plus to this Dallas Mavericks group. It kind of seemed like they would have killed for that in these last playoffs, and maybe that would have helped their chances. Now defensively is where I'm the most concerned. and Mavericks fans should be concerned on that end of the court. Kyrie and Luka are already lacking defensive players. Now they just lost Derrick Jones Jr., who was huge for them defensively, and they're replacing him with an aging and slower Klay Thompson. That perimeter defense is really going to be something that can be exploited, which is going to put even more pressure on the interior guys like Lively and Washington to hold down the fort. Ultimately, I still love the move, and I think there's going to be some nights where the Mavericks offense just looks downright scary. But I would be lying if I said I didn't have some major concerns, and see some areas where they can clearly be taken advantage of. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Is Klay Thompson gonna make a difference in Dallas? Is Klay Thompson gonna improve the Mavericks' chances? And what was the most interesting move in this NBA offseason so far? I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.